Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Arts and Culture Collective of Burlington's All Candidates Forum on Arts and Culture. Can we please give it up for everybody who made it here tonight? Welcome to our nice full crowd. We've had, of course, a number of meetings getting ready for tonight, and the first thing we said was, lots will happen, lots will be said, but if people come, we win. We being everybody. So we're already well ahead of the game, and we're just thrilled at the turnout, and thrilled at all the candidates and the artists that have given so much time to make tonight work. Before I really get cracking, my name is Trevor Copp. I'm going to be your MC for the evening. I'd first like to welcome up our host this evening, just to welcome us into our space. Please, Mr. Lawrie Bonnano.
Good evening, Mayor Goldring, members of council, and all the rest of you. Welcome to the Drama Centre. This is the home of Burlington Little Theatre. I'm the business administrator for the organisation, and just like to know that this building was built for us in 1970 and is now our permanent home. The group was started in 1953, but our first performance was in 1954. So this is our 60th anniversary for continuous performances in Burlington. One of the things I would like to see is all of you attend a performance. There's a nice big sheet next year. It's a very good set of plays next year. 2 plays which I'm sure most of you will never have heard of, but seem to be read very well. So we'd like you all to attend, and that would make life very great for us. So thank you for coming.
Ladies and gentlemen, let me talk you through the format of tonight. Here's what's going to happen. I'm going to introduce what's happening and introduce our wonderful speakers. Here in the first hour, we've got 5 speakers who are going to come up and give us a sense of context, talking about arts and culture in this community, talking about the political atmosphere for arts and culture in this community, and what it looks like. This is some context time with some wonderful speakers that will be introduced. After that, we're going to have a break, we're going to move some chairs around, and in this space, we're going to rearrange breakout sessions per ward. So we'll have one corner where 2 wards get together and you can focus. Each of the candidates that are running, that have been able to make it out tonight, are going to speak a bit about their position in arts and culture. And everyone in the audience, and I mean everyone, is welcome to sit and have a dialogue. Ask questions, have a conversation. There'll be 2 wards, 2 other wards, 2 other wards up on stage. So the first bit is a little bit of context for the conversation, moving into that space. Before I go further, I want to throw out some thank yous. I've learned this is very important. I know when I'm sitting in the audience, I've sat through many audiences and many, many thank yous, and sometimes in the audience going, I don't really know who that is. Like I don't, so the other things here, but I've learned this is very important. And behind the scenes, these people help you so much, you want to give them that time. I want to thank especially Teresa, Tommy, Jim, Rosanna, all of the group from the Arts and Culture Collective who have put a lot of effort tonight to make this happen. I also want to thank all of the ward reps from the Arts and Culture Collective of Burlington. Can you wave your hands? We've got 6 of them here from our different wards in the crowd here tonight. They'll be moderating each of the conversations in the breakout groups tonight. When we get to that point. And that's my quick list. I also want to acknowledge in the audience tonight, we've got a couple special people that are not speaking, that will not get a chance to come up and talk. Angela, can you give us a wave? Where's Angela? That's Angela. Ladies and gentlemen, let's see her name. This is our first Angela is our city's first cultural officer. First cultural planner, right? This is her. Cultural planner working with the city. Now, because she does work with the city, it's not exactly kosher for her to get up here and chit-chat with that. It's not exactly the time for that. But she's doing really hard work, putting together things for the whole city, and she's begun the process of the Cultural Action Plan, which will be the subject for tonight. I'm also going to mention the cultural map. So, a lot of us have highlighted the need for central information points around culture in this community. And this project has already begun, the city has already begun this. If you are in the city and you are an artist or you work with an arts organization, please register for the cultural map. You can speak to Angela at some point. It's at the city, on the city's website. You let them know who they're here, and that way you've got one place. Everybody can come to town and go, where are the clowns? I gotta hire clowns. and you can find out where all the clowns are. And there's one pod city, and go, here, there's lots of clowns in the city, lots. But there's specific people who like to work as clowns and refer themselves as clowns. There'll be a listing for that. So Angela will be able to help you with that. That second person I acknowledge who's not going to speak specifically, but is a wonderful, wonderful part of the city, is our current mayor, Mr. Rick Lawrie, in the back here. Thank you very much, Mr. Now, Mr. Lawrie, right now, the particular reason why he's not going to be in the breakout sessions, right now he's uncontested as a mayoral candidate for the upcoming term. So, for that reason, we said, well, we don't really have a ward for you to go to under those circumstances, but he is here, and I'm sure certainly welcome any conversation you'd like to have on arts and culture in the city. I'm going to now go through and walk you through briefly the history of what took us to here today. In the city of Burlington, arts and culture. I walked into Mayor Jackson's office while he was in session, and I didn't have, of course, a cultural planner to speak to. I didn't know who to talk to. So I go right to the mayor's office, and I pull out this cultural plan that the city has, and I highlight a section that says, supporting grassroots professional activity. And I said, that's me. Like, I'm that line is me, so that's your plan, so what do we do? Like, how do we get the support out of the go? And he was great, but he said to me, that's the theory, but we don't have any money. So the theory was passed. The theory was, yes, let's do that, and we all agree, and then no money ever materialized to actually make it happen. So then we got really exciting, fast forward years later, and our current council has worked with creating a cultural, here's the keyword, action plan. So this is wonderful. So now there's a plan that insists on, how will it happen? What are the steps? What does it look like? And a year ago, just over a year ago, at a council meeting, we're having a conversation, and the mayor and some of the ward councils bring up the fact that there's not enough dialogue. We're not hearing the support behind this plan to know that it should really happen. And that's how the Arts and Culture Collective was born. They need to hear support. All right, they're going to hear it. And over the last year, I'm really thrilled that we've been able to work very closely together with the city, and get ready to applaud here because this took a lot of energy. We got the Cultural Action Plan approved, unanimously. So thank you very much. That was a lot of work and a lot of love. So take that and fast forward to the present, where here's where we're at. The plan is approved in theory. Everyone loves the idea of the plan. We're all on board for the idea of the plan. But we hit our first major stumbling block in funding a cultural manager. So we've got one, we've agreed that we need two. Absolutely can, we've got two people in the city making this work. And the vote was defeated. So coming out of that, we've got a new council coming together, and we said, let's pull everyone together, and let's talk about this cultural action plan, how we can make it work together, where it can work, where the councils are sitting with all this question. I want to acknowledge as well, we've got one council in the room. That vote, unfortunately, wasn't terribly close. Budget times, things get tight. But we had one vote for. Incumbent councillor, Mr. Rick Craven, was the one councillor to say, yes, let's put this plan. So that was lovely, and now we need more of that. So, that brings us to present. The major items on the cultural action plan that are coming up, the big questions of the future, there are three big questions, and these are the big questions that reflect the questionnaire that was circulated to all the candidates prior to today, whose answers many of you have read. The three major items are cultural manager within the city, a position of some significance, some influence, someone to bring together the elements within the city, the big organizations, the big buildings that make culture happen in the city. That's number one. In conversations, we've all talked about this siloed feeling, like we're all these artists working alone in a little space, and that's to end that. Number two is funding an arts council-like body. Arts council is this word that is like, that's not quite the word yet, whatever it is, an external body devoted to arts and culture, devoted to the grassroots artists, the small organizations in this area, and making sure those resources are used really well with each other. That's the second item. Third item, grants for artists. It's difficult to talk about sometimes, but it's absolutely important to making things happen. So those are three items that were on the questionnaire. Do you support these items? Those three plus, what is your platform on the arts? All the candidates were given these questions, and they really took the time out to respond to these, which we thank you very much. We have, and on break, we'll be able to have a look at those. We've printed out some of their answers if you haven't read them online, to make sure you can have a look at them and have a conversation about those answers when we do the breakout sessions. All right, that's most of everything that I wanted to make sure that we covered. I'm going to mention briefly as well, as we move on to our speakers here, that this election, if things go as they are, and there's not other candidates for the mayor's position, then one thing that happens in municipal elections, that without a mayor's race, the election turnout tends to be a bit smaller. What that means is that your vote is 10 times bigger. The vote is smaller. The margins between one candidate and another are 100, 10. Like really small numbers are big. So you've never had an election where your vote was bigger on this one. So whatever comes out tonight, I really hope everybody votes. That's what it's all about in the fall elections. And if someone can give me the date on that for later on at some point, I'd appreciate that. We should look at that.
27.
Sorry?
27.
October 27th. Thank you very much. So there's our big day. I want to mention as well, just as I wrap up, that today the first question that was sent out to candidates was, what is your platform in arts and culture? All right, we're going to say from the inside, from the arts and culture, from our perspective, we didn't think that everyone had this great little file folder and, oh, I'll look up, here's my platform, and they pulled it out and they just paste and copy and sent it out. Of course we didn't. This is a new conversation. It's a new conversation for everyone. So today I hope that you take the time to learn a lot of the different candidates and their positions, and take them and have that dialogue to help them let them know about what you need, where you're coming from. It's a new conversation, and we hope it goes both ways.